Hello everyone, welcome to Knowledge Circle. In today's video, we will learn how can we calculate the sum of rows and columns of a matrix. So let's begin the program. Let's create the class, double click on the class and let's write the code. In this program, what we have to do, we have to calculate the sum of rows and columns of a matrix. Matrix is created by using double dimensional array. So in the beginning, we have to ask the user that user has to tell the number of rows and columns that has to be defined by user at the time of execution. Accordingly, we will define the double dimensional array, the size of the array. Then after we will ask user again to enter the number of elements, means the elements of the matrix will be entered by the user, and then we will calculate the sum of row and column. Okay, so here we have started our program. Class is created, main function is started, then after the object of scanner class is created for input, and then we will provide a simple message to user that enter the number of rows and columns, how many rows and columns you want in your matrix, that has to be given by user. Okay, so accordingly we will define the double dimensional array for matrix creation. So we'll declare two integer variable r and c to take input from user. Okay, so the first value which is given by user, that will be stored in r, and the second value will be stored in c. I have taken here for rows and c I have taken here for column. Now it's time to define the array. The type of array we are keeping here integer, the array name m, then 2 times square bracket, assignment operator, new keyword for memory allocation, and then the data type, and then r and c. R represents row and c represents column. So the array is defined, the double dimensional array for taking input from user is defined. It's time to give a message to user to enter the elements in the array. So the message is enter the elements of the array. Okay, so user is going to give the elements. So accepting the elements of matrix is possible by using nested loop. So we will run two loops here, nested loop. The outer loop is responsible for number of rows and the inner loop is responsible for number of columns. So here the loop begins for int I equal to 0, I should be lesser than r and I plus plus. Similarly, I'll just copy the code and paste here, and I'll make some modification, like in the place of I, I'll make it j, and here j should be lesser than c, and here j plus plus. And now we'll write the statement of input, because it is an integer kind of array. So here we will write mij, means the subscript is I and j. On the current index of I and j, the value will be stored. ob.nextInt, the value given by user will be stored. Inner loop close, outer loop close. So this is done. Now I want to display the preview of the matrix. The matrix given by user will be displayed on the screen. So I'll just simply copy the code and I'll paste it, and that preview we will just simply display here. You can see that nothing special has to be done. I'll just copy a printing statement to display the preview, and inside the inner loop we will display that. So what we have to do is that one more statement I'm displaying before displaying the preview of matrix, that is the matrix is. Now inside the inner loop we will just write here system.out.print, not ln, mij, means the current index of ij, whatever the value is, that will be displayed. Okay, and now I'll here what I'm going to do, I'll just simply write system.out.println, which is responsible for changing the line after each row. Okay, so the preview of matrix will be displayed like this. It's time to display the sum of rows and columns. For that I will declare two extra variables, one for sum of row, that is sr, and second sc for sum of columns. Okay, now I'll just copy the code once again, because the code is quite similar, because the loop has to run in the same way, means up to row, and then the inner loop up to column. So the code will be copied, and in the place of this printing statement I'll remove, and I will write here sr equal to sr plus mj. Every time that sr variable, which is storing the sum of row, has to be in outer loop, and that has to be reset to 0, because we want to display the sum of each row. Okay, so here will be sr equal to sr plus mij, and here this statement has to be removed. After this we will print the sum of each row in the outer loop. So I'll just modify the message here, sum of elements of row, and row is what? That is I is 0, so I'll write here I plus 1 because index is beginning with 0. And here we will put concatenation once again, and we'll put the equal to symbol, and then again concatenation, and the variable that contains the sum of row, that is SR. So this is what sum of row code for sum of rows. Now I'll just copy this code and I'll paste it, and we will calculate the sum of column. See, sum of column is not same as sum of row. That's why we have to make some modification. What modification we have to do is that in sum of row, the outer loop runs from row and then it goes to column. Means now we will do opposite. The outer loop will depend on column, and the inner loop will depend on row. Okay, and in the place of that ij we will do ji. Okay, and I will just modify the variable also here. Before, let's correct the message first. Sum of the elements of column, that will be I plus 1, and here it will be, in the place of SR we will write SC. Okay, and there also we will modify, we'll make it SC for column it is, and there in the outer loop also. So what is the difference between sum of row and column? In sum of row we will make the outer loop depend on row, and in sum of column we will make the outer loop depend on column. So let's compile and let's check whether the program is correct or not. The program is successfully compiled. Right click on the class void main, enter the number of rows and columns. So, and the number of rows and columns I have entered 3 4, and accordingly I am entering the elements of the array. The elements are entered, and after the entering the elements we have written the code for displaying the preview. You can see the preview is displayed. Sum of elements of row 1, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 10, 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 26. Same way column is also displayed. So there are 4 columns, so 4 columns sum is displayed. So this is a basic program to find the sum of elements of rows and columns of a matrix.